Hello everybody and welcome back to another online Chinese history class with me, Tony. Last class we reviewed the end of the Xia Dynasty to the start of the Zhou Dynasty, so naturally now we will be continuing normal class and talking about the Zhou Dynasty's beginnings. So now that feudalism is established and the royal princes are sent around the kingdom or the dynasty to prevent betrayal and to protect the dynasty and the king could finally relax, right? Wrong. There was another problem. Not all of the Shang dynasty's royal blood was exterminated. They were still there. In fact, even the son of Di Xin, the last king of the Shang dynasty, was still alive. His name was Wu Gen. So, what do you think that Ji Fa, the king of Zhou right now, would do about this? So A. Ji Fa executed Wu Gen and got rid of all of the other royal blood of Shang. B. Ji Fa exiled Wu Gen into the wilderness and out of the kingdom. All of the other royal blood and ministers of Shang were sent out too. Ji Fa did not think that Wu Gen would rebel because he was in a very bad position to do so, and he said try to be friendly with him. That's option C. And option D, the final option, is Ji Fa decided to make him a slave of the Zhou dynasty. As you saw in feudalism, slaves still exist. So I'll give you some time to think about this. And the correct answer was C. Ji Fa wasn't actually too worried about this situation and didn't think that Wu Gen would rebel if he was smart. After all, there were lots of royal princes around and Wu Gen didn't have any army to begin with. But, just to be sure, he sent Guan and Cai, his two brothers out of many, to watch over him and make sure that he has no thought of betrayal whatsoever. This way, it's basically extra insurance. Here's the problem. Not after long, though, Ji Fa passed away of illness, and his son, Ji Song, became the king. However, there's another major problem. This class right now is all about major problems in the dynasty now. And basically, his son, Ji Song, was a child. He wasn't nearly old enough to handle the power of the throne. So the ministers voted and decided that another brother of Ji Fa, Ji Dan, would help him make decisions as a king and become the regent of him. And a regent means someone who is appointed to govern a country while the king cannot possibly do it in any way, whether if he is incapacitated, out on vacation, or too young in this case. And Ji Dan was widely known by his first name, Dan, and was most commonly referred to as Duke of Zhou. So you don't need to call him Ji Dan. That's basically egg in Chinese. It's a pretty weird name, but this guy is going to be very important throughout the start of the Zhou dynasty in this period. So many people regarded this as a pretty good plan. After all, the Duke of Zhou was very experienced in political affairs. However, another major problem was created. Guan and Cai were not happy at all. They were the king's brothers too, so why couldn't they be the regent of Ji Song? They thought that it was unfair, so they secretly planned a revolution with Wu Gen. This was known as the Rebellion of the Three Guards. They had a quite intricate plan, actually. They planned and detailed it out a lot. First, they spread rumors and fake news around how the Duke of Zhou was actually going to secretly assassinate the king and take over the throne for himself so he could have absolute control instead of just temporary years of control until the king reaches the mature age. A bunch of people actually believed this and joined their cause. This was their plan. So the people who believed them joined their army because they didn't have much soldiers. All the soldiers belonged to them, Guan and Cai, because they were technically they were royal blood, so they both got a squadron or two, but it wasn't enough to compete against the Zhou dynasty's entire army. So now the Zhou dynasty was in pretty bad shape, as it still has a ton of problems. It just started actually 4 years before this, and it looked like it was gonna fall within 4 years because of this rebellion. It's gonna make that's gonna make it one of the shortest dynasties of China. So this rebellion started taking place in 1042 BCE, and the Zhou dynasty has only started in 1046 BCE. The good thing is the Duke of Zhou wasn't just an ordinary minister either. He was not only a very good politician, he was one of the best military strategists in his time, and some famous kings during the course of the many dynasties of China could not compare to his skill and could not best him. So the Duke of Zhou wasn't frustrated, scared, or anything like that. If anything, he was calm and collected his thoughts. He did not worry about this at all. He first gave a speech to the entire city on how the rumors and fake news were indeed very much fake. This way, the chances of further people joining the rebellion army would go down almost to zero. Then he spread out soldiers into separate regions and led most of the army to confront the rebellion's army. Over a course of 3 years of conquering different cities and conquering them back and defending some cities and then attacking some other forts, the rebellion of the Three Guards were obliterated, along with other rebellion forces as well, and that period ended with a victory for the Zhou dynasty that is now 7 years old. But furthermore, it also reminded people to not rebel in the Zhou dynasty. And that's going to be it, basically, for today. So, see you guys all next time.